So once you finished med school and you were up and running with a thriving practice, why did this epiphany happen in terms of making a film rather than just going and finding an agent and submitting yourself online and going out for auditions?
Okay. Well, the main reason was I didn't feel I had a chance, to be quite honest. So I looked at the competition, and I looked at all these wonderfully talented people who just are, I felt, they're in a different league than me. I kind of felt like the same way. It kind of goes back to when I applied to medical school. I saw all these people around me like super smart, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to work 10 times as hard to graduate from medical school as these guys around me. And I felt that 100-fold when I decided to be an actor. I looked around and I was like, these guys are really talented. They've gone to drama school. They've been in this artistic, they've had this artistic psychology for, since they were babies. Some of them have done Nickelodeon, some of them have done this, done that, and here I am, a guy who knows a whole lot about the human anatomy, but not about, how to stand on stage, right or left. So that was the main reason. I felt like if I put myself on the same playing field as these other guys, I wouldn't be recognized and I wouldn't have a chance. I felt like I was too much of an outsider. I felt like I wasn't the mainstream type of leading character that Hollywood's looking for. So I felt like, it's not going to happen. The other thing is I'm a professional and I don't have the time to go via the normal route. I don't have the time to audition for X, Y, and Z things that may or may not pan out. So that's when I had to I made the reality came to me. I guess, look, the only way you're going to make this happen is if you make yourself stand out somehow. And how are you going to do that? And I felt the best way to do that is to make something, make a film, because I know how to work with people. I run a practice. I know how to organize. I know how to manage my time. I had a lot of concepts in my mind, thoughts and ideas that I felt were worthy to put into a screenplay or put into action. And so that's how the decision really came about, was just, kind of realizing that, if I go the normal route, I probably won't make it. Somebody like, like these super excellent actors like, George Clooney or someone, they can walk into Hollywood and fine, they can audition and they're going to get it because I always feel like these guys, there's something about them that people look at him, they're like, yeah, this guy's great. He'd look great in this role or XYZ. And then there's the other part of the actors that made it, but they didn't make it via the traditional route. It wasn't like they walked into an audition, they're like, hey, you're the next best thing since, Wonder Bread, and we're going to make you happen. They had sort of a more circuitous route, and that's the category I felt I fit in.
There's a saying that I like, and it says expectations or planned disappointments. And I know that's sort of a negative take, and we're trying to be a little more positive here at Film Courage. But I'm just wondering, do you think that's why a lot of people give up or self-destruct in this business, because of those expectations, where it seems like you said you're a realist, and you realize that it could not happen, and you just kind of keep on that path?
Yeah, I very much agree with that. It's a tough business. That's the bottom line, because it's unlike anything else, because you're constantly trying to sell yourself, which in and of itself is kind of weird. So it's very difficult, and the thing is, but to move forward in this, you have to have expectations. And that's the conundrum. Because how can you move forward as an actor or a filmmaker without the dream of making it big? And so that's where the sort of disconnect occurs, because you have to have the dream, but at the same time you have to say to yourself, like, look, man, the probability of you making it there is slim. Like, even now after 2 films, I'm very much like, probability of me making it, slim. I still honestly feel that way, and that's me. But I have the dream. I have a dream. Like, you know what? I think I can. I just have to work harder, and I have to keep trying, and so I move forward. Yeah.